Good morning, ladies. We might have a small group here. See a couple of you, and that's okay. I will record it even if it's just me, but I appreciate you guys popping in. I will say, just so if you're busy and you don't want to just listen to me talk, you guys are both already clients, and this is more, I don't want to say sales pitch, but it's basically what we do that we're already doing for both of you. So if you all don't want to listen, don't feel like you've got to stay on. But it's totally up to you. I just want to let you know what it is. It's really about, just outsourcing back office, which is exactly what we do to try to explain to people that it doesn't have to be scary. Not that it's scary, but we don't take full control over everything. Like some people, that's what they worry about. But we'll give everybody just a minute to jump on, like just a minute. Plus, I'm running my little foot heater. It's a little chilly in here this morning. And so it's under my desk. I'm going to turn it off here in just a minute. And we'll get going. Yep. All right, let me turn my heater off. Hang on just a second. I'm going for most professional webinar host ever, climbing under the desk in the middle. Although I did have all my stuff dialed in this time. If you're on my first one of this series, it didn't get recorded. I didn't have a quote practice session. It was kind of a mess, but that's all good. All right, guys, well, let's jump in and let's get going. The last one to jump on here, Lydia, I just mentioned that everybody on the webinar are actual clients. And I don't want to say this is a sales pitch, but it is explaining what we do. And so you guys are already clients. If you don't have a lot of time to sit and listen to me talk, feel free to do something else. But I don't think there's anything here that you're not already aware of and already going to know. So just giving you that little qualifier there. So without further ado, we've got a non-client that jumped on. Okay, welcome to the group here. It's kind of a small group. So let me go through a little housekeeping real quick. I love to answer questions, even if they're off topic and you're like, hey, I've got Amy's attention, let me ask her a question. Feel free to ask questions. But in doing so, if you'll put them in the Q&A panel, if you look at your little Zoom bar, you should have a Q&A panel, and just click on that. It'll open up the questions and question and answer panel. That way I can just keep track of what I've answered and what I have not answered. I did fail to put my headset on, which usually results in a lot better audio. I'm just going to keep going the way we're going. If you guys have any problem hearing me, let me know, and you could throw that in the chat. And I did make sure chat is enabled. Let me double check it. And everybody should be able to chat if you like. So without further ado, we will just get rolling. So welcome everybody. If you don't know me, my name is Amy Knight. I've been in the business for quite a while here in Texas, been 21 years now. And then before Texas, I graduated Oklahoma. I'm from Oklahoma, graduated OU. Yes, I did. And yes, I live in Austin, Texas. And yes, I have a lot of fun with the game and all of that. And yes, I will be rooting for Texas in the championship series. Don't get me wrong. So anyways, we did get vendor of the year or associate member of the year this year, which was exciting, and thankful for that from the Texas Home Care Association. So that's me accepting my award in the very few rare times that you might see me in a dress. That doesn't happen very often. It was super comfy. We only work in this industry: home health, hospice, nursing home, assisted living. That's all we do, and that's all I've ever done since I graduated. So what we're going to go over here is identifying, I'm used to it now, but I'll tell you, I'm one that's a little bit sensitive to quote buzzwords when they pop up. And then I'm like, what does that even really mean? So I kind of want to dig into that. What does back office mean? And specifically, what does it mean in home health and hospice? And then what does it mean to outsource it? And what are the benefits? And then what does that transition look like? So full disclosure, like I was telling you guys, this is exactly what we do. We are an outsourced back office service provider. And so it's kind of just talking about why we do what we do, how we're relieving pain points off of you, and then just what does that transition look like? But also really defining, I use the word back office way too loosely. We only do accounting, but back office also encompasses payroll and HR and QA and billing and those things. And so we don't outsource the full back office. So I want to get into that a little bit. So I've got about 30, I always say this, I say 30 minutes of content and then I talk for 45 minutes. So I'm going to say I have 45 minutes of content and we might wrap up early. Again, interrupt me with questions and I'll stop and answer them along the way. So the back office functions as I see them are accounting, payroll, HR, and then billing and everything that goes with billing. That's kind of your full back office, right? Well, we only do the accounting aspect. So your bookkeeping, the bill pay, there is no quote really account. You have accounts receivable, but that's more on your billing side than accounting, okay? We are intimately involved with payroll, although we do not provide payroll services anymore. We used to, and we sold that company about 3 years ago, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 years ago. We sold it in 19, so it's been a while now. But it still is heavily involved with everything we do. So you would think we do payroll. My passions are payroll and cost reporting because one affects the other. And so I can go into great detail with those. Human resources can often, especially in our world, unless you're a really big agency, you can really outsource your HR. So like your payroll provider, if you're with the right one, should have an HR component where maybe you can buy, maybe it's a on-demand library subscription. So you can go pull forms and job applications and maybe a template for a disciplinary action template, different templates, but it's kind of self-service. Then there's a next level where maybe you've got an actual person that you can call and get actual live answers from. And then I've also seen a higher level where you basically have a full-time HR person at your disposal, but you're paying a fraction of the cost, which is very similar to our accounting. So for us, you have a full dedicated team, but you pay a fraction of the cost of a full-time salary. So that's kind of a model that is common with HR. And a lot of times that's sold and bundled with your payroll. And then lastly, our billing collections, not really, well, yeah, collections, especially from not Medicare, but the commercial insurance carriers and the MCOs and all that. But also you got coding and chart review and OASIS and QA, those things, some of that can be outsourced too. So moving on. Basically what outsourcing means, so we just discussed what does back office mean. It's all of those. And again, I probably overuse the term. I use it too broadly. And when I'm speaking, I mean just the accounting functions. But what does it mean to outsource it? That one's simple. It just means you hire somebody else externally to do those services. For me, for instance, we outsource all of our IT, right? We have a managed IT company. Ironically, they specialize in CPA firms, accounting firms only. They actually were a bigger firm and they had a really big presence in accounting firms. And then they had some other stuff and it was 2 partners. They split. One partner took all the accounting, the other partner took the other stuff. So now they are strictly accounting firms is all they work with. So having a partner that specializes in your industry is huge. So even I follow that practice. Another thing we outsource is we outsource our marketing. I'm involved, but I have a full dedicated marketing team Like they know HubSpot. I use HubSpot. They know HubSpot inside and out. They set it up for me. I use like a tenth of what that system does. And it's actually, we just met last week and it's on our agenda to really get deeper into that product. What more can we do with it? But again, we outsource it. And so comparing back to that HR model, with my marketing team, I'm at the top of the top. It ain't cheap either. I probably could hire somebody for just a little bit more, but honestly, they wouldn't have enough full-time work and they would be at a kind of lower level and I can relate this to our services. They would be at a lower level of service that I could hire, but I wouldn't have the real expertise of like the owners in that firm. Like they've got a group that specializes in video and a group that specializes in SEO, search optimization and social, right? So anyways, I'm getting too deep into marketing. That's not what you're here for. So with our team, we don't have any bookkeepers. Everybody's a degreed accountant. In the state of Texas, just a little side note, to call yourself an accountant or to have the title accountant, you have to have an accounting degree per the Texas State Board of CPAs. They take that stuff very seriously, but we are all degreed accountants, but we do a lot of bookkeeping. So bookkeeping and accounting is one of the functions that we do. But then we also have somebody on the team, like myself, specializes in cost reporting. We've got payroll experts. That would be Shayla. We've got so we've got cost reporting and then we got tax, right? So we've got these different specialties that when you hire internally an accountant, are they also going to be able to do your tax return, your business tax return, maybe your personal tax return as owners? And what about your cost report, Medicare cost report, stairs cost report? So by outsourcing, you can get maybe a professional that has all of those hats or a team that can wear all of those hats, but you're still getting them for less than what maybe a full-time person for just one of the functions would cost. But that's what outsourcing means. You give over the detailed work, the grunt work, if you will, and then what comes with it is a higher level of professional services also. What it does not mean is you don't give up control of anything other than just data entry. And like I said here, who wants to do that anyways? And then we bring in these other skill sets from professionals. So for us, outsourcing back office, we're going to be able to bring in professional skill sets for tax, for cost report, for a stairs cost report, for stairs audits, because everybody loves those. And that's going to be for your provider services. Anybody doing provider services knows what the stairs cost report, desk review, audit process is like. And so for less than what it might cost you to hire a bookkeeper, you can hire a firm that can handle all of those specialties. The biggest benefit, and I just had this conversation with another which is now a client. They signed up pretty quickly after we had a conversation. So it was really cool. I like it when that happens, but hiring. So attracting, recruiting, hiring, retaining, training, everything it takes to onboard a new employee and get them up to speed and then keep them. We take that burden off of you. So now that burden's on me, and trust me, I feel it. I feel it heavily. Lydia, Shayla is back on January 2nd. And so I'm excited about that. She will be taking your account back over. So she's been out on maternity leave. We are short-staffed. I know the burden of hiring. And we take that burden on, just like for IT. I don't want the burden of having to hire an IT person. First, what the hell do I know about how to hire an IT person? Secondly, then the turnover and keeping them and all that. And so this agency that we had just met with, she said, we hire all the time and, they're good size and this and that. She said, but man, we cannot seem to keep somebody in the accounting position. They last about 1 to 2 years. She said, the 10 years I've been here, we've been through 5 people. And I said, that's the burden that we take off of you. And I really think that's what sold the deal, because so they had been doing all of this work internally and said, man, we'd much rather hire it out. I will tell you, my very, very first client, and so I was solo, just me. She was concerned, and she was a super smart lady. And she asked the question, she said, Amy, what happens if you get hit by a bus? And I said, well, that's a damn good question. And I quickly found a colleague that does what I do, and we kind of made this informal partnership. If something happens to me, you're my recovery plan, like you're my backup plan. You know, you'll take over my clients. So we still have that in place today. But now I'm fully staffed. So if I were hit by a bus, A, that would be tragic. B, the team can carry on and at least wind everything down. So we do have good exit plans now. That was 20 years ago. What did I know back then? But it also provides you just freedom of letting the real sales pitch that I give is let somebody else do the details, so you can take that information that's already done for you and you can do analysis, you can make decisions, you can review it, all the things, right? So me as an owner, I just want to be able to pick out my books, look at them, make financial decisions, see how things are going. Where's the trend? What does this look like? How are we doing here? Of course, I've got an unfair advantage. I know how to read those things. But what I mean is, I don't like doing the details of getting it put together. Trust me, I don't. I would rather be the one reading and making decisions. So we leverage a lot of technology to help us do the grunt work, so that we can be more valuable partners to you. So we're available to answer questions, not just be in there keystroke and data entry things. I really emphasize this point about provides freedom, because freedom to you might be different than freedom to the next agency owner. Some owners want to grow really big and they want to provide us, they want to cover the whole state, and they want to provide the best care possible. Some owners want to stay small and provide a great workplace for a number of employees, and that they love being able to take care of employees and provide a good living for them so that they can take care of their family, but also provide good services to the community. But they don't want to grow real big. And maybe we've got other owners in our nursing home space. One owner's fairly young. He's got a knack for putting really good people in place. And he likes spending his time out on the ranch with his boys. He's got 4 boys, and he's on a tractor, and he will send me the most random videos of digging a pond. But that's his happy space, and that's the freedom that he finds by outsourcing a lot of his back office work. Again, you get access to a full set of experts, not just what you can hire internally. I don't know any agencies other than the big behemoths like Girling, and I don't even know if they're called Girling anymore, but Encompass and those really large ones that would have their own team of, accounting experts, tax professionals, cost report professionals, all in-house. Side note, I did, when I was first moving to Austin, I interviewed with Girling to be on their cost report audit team. And so I asked the question, well, so you're doing internal audits of your own cost reports that you prepared? And they said, yes. And I said, no, thank you, very quickly. That sounded like the most boring job on the planet. I know I'm a CPA, but I am not boring. And that did not sound like fun to me at all. So you get that full team. Very few, even good size agencies. I mean, so, that size is all relative, right? We've got a hospice agency that's running 24 million a year. That, to me, that's a large agency. They still outsource payroll, HR, accounting. We do all their bill pay. I believe they even outsource billing. I don't think that's even internally handled at this time. So you can be small or you can be big and still outsource, and it makes sense. It often saves money too. Again, just kind of going back to, otherwise you'd have to hire all those individual parties. And then you have like everything all in one place. You've got this, and I shouldn't say everything like that, right? Because your payroll is going to be in one place, your accounting in one place, but all of your accounting is in one place where by everything, I mean your accounting, your cost reporting, and your tax. When I very first went out on my own, so I worked in Oklahoma for 5 years with another firm. It was just he and myself, and then we started hiring some help. And when I moved to Texas, started my own firm, that was really my sales pitch. It was like, hey, I can do cost report, I can do accounting, I could do tax. Back then, I was like, I could do payroll taxes, because what we had back then was a lot of agencies, a lot of businesses in general would have QuickBooks Desktop. They would run payroll themselves, but they would hire somebody else to come in and do the quarterly payroll tax returns. So you had a separate set of eyes on everything, and everything got reconciled and balanced. So that was my sales pitch. I can do all of those. So this very first client of mine, I guess I'll never forget her. It was very impactful working with her. I learned so much. But she said, I need this, and that. And I was like, okay, I can do all of those things. And that's where this whole bundled package came from, which is what we do now. So we sell a package, right? And it includes all of those items. Or I met with somebody yesterday, and they're a good size agency, and they said, do you have to include taxes? Because I have a lot of other business ventures that I'm in, and I'm really happy with my CPA that handles all my businesses and my personal, and he does our personal, it's all together. I said, that is absolutely fine. Tax is not my favorite thing, so I don't have to be greedy on the tax work. Now, the one thing I won't split off is cost report. The Medicare cost report, I won't peel that out separately. I like to look at it that I've created some trade secrets in the industry, and I don't want to give my books to another firm to go learn to do the cost report, because I've done 90% of their work for them. So that I do keep that all bundled in. But everything in one place was kind of that idea there that, so with that first client, I feel like she said I would be eliminating, she had 5 consultants doing that, and she would be able to boil it down to me. So it took me to replace 5 different consultants. I thought that was pretty cool. And it became a pretty good, I guess, package, for lack of better words, way to position our services. And then we just grew that way. And then people would ask, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? And we've gotten to where we are because of that. A couple of things on our horizon that we're looking to add is hospice cap monitoring. We're not there yet, but we want to be, and we will work on that. I also want to offer more benchmarking. So I have this client database of quite a few home cares, quite a few hospices, and I can take them as a group. We've got the software to do it, and create benchmarks. So out of my group of clients, high performers, low performers, where do you land? On like average cost per day, or maybe in home care, it's cost per visit. Maybe it's revenue size, maybe it's admits or census or discharges. So what do your KPIs look like? Maybe it's especially in hospice, we look at cost per day on every single line item, like what's your drug costs per day, what's your DME cost per day, and you can kind of measure yourself to others. So that's something else I'm going to get rolled out, but I can't do any of that until I get further staffed up. And so those are all summer projects. We are ready to roll into busy season. And it really already started. December really is the start of busy season for us around here. So lastly, we've got just final thoughts. What does it look like to actually transition? It's actually a lot easier than one might suspect. I feel like it's easier than transitioning payroll services, and for sure billing services. And when I say billing services, I'm thinking billing from one EMR to another, like moving from Kinzer to Access. Those are big transitions. Payroll is also kind of a big transition, because you've got to move the data with you. If you move mid-year, you've got to take all of the year-to-date information from, let's say you're going from ADP to my favorite, which is Works, and you're moving from ADP over to Works, you've got to take all the year-to-date data. But I will say the payroll company really handles a lot of that for you. And then it's kind of the same for us. So when transitioning from one outsourced accounting firm to another, the big difference here is that most of the time, not all the time, you own your QuickBooks. And so maybe you're on QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, Peachtree/Sage. That is your file, or at least it should be. So it kind of depends on who you're working with. But that's your data and that's your file. And so you can take your data, your database, and just move it to another firm. So let me put it in other terms. Let's say that you use Kinser as your EMR, but you're moving from one outsourced biller to another. That would be very similar to changing your accounting services. You're going to just take your Kinser, you don't physically move it, but you're going to go basically kick out whoever was doing the billing, remove their access, and add the new people. So your data is still all in Kinser. So in today's world, most people are, I shouldn't even say it that way, a lot of agencies are in QuickBooks Online. And so we just take the QuickBooks Online, turn off the other accountants, add us as accountants, and we just take over the existing set. If it's QuickBooks Desktop, it's a little bit more complicated. And this is where I have found issues. I've yet to ever run across an accounting firm that will not turn over the QuickBooks Online set of books. So going a little bit deeper. So I've got a brand new startup coming on. They have a hospice, they just spun out and they're starting up a home health. We will probably set up the QuickBooks Online file from scratch, which means I'm going to be the primary administrator, the primary admin of that file. If that client ever terminates, then all I've got to do is go in and change it to where they're the primary admin, and then it's just theirs. I've not had any problems with accounting firms turning over access to the QuickBooks Online files. However, if it's QuickBooks Desktop, we have had that on several occasions over the years where the accounting firm that you're leaving doesn't want to give you their QuickBooks Desktop file. And that is an actual file. It's a backup or a data file, but typically they'll make a backup, give you the backup, and then we would take the backup and we would restore it on our system, and then we're going to upgrade it to QuickBooks Online. We only work with QuickBooks Online, but we at least have all the history. So that is a problem that I've run into from time to time. It looks really bad on the accountant that you're leaving. I've never put up a fight to give somebody their QuickBooks data because I don't want to look bad when somebody leaves. And they do leave, it happens, right? So that can be a little bit of a sticking point. Now, this new client we just signed up, they're in QuickBooks Enterprise Desktop. Their file is very massive because they've been in it for years. So we've made the internal decision that, yes, we need to upgrade them to QuickBooks Online, but their file is so big, we're going to just start a new QuickBooks Online file. And so 2023 and prior will all be archived in QuickBooks Desktop, and then 24 moving forward will be in QuickBooks Online. Sometimes you've got to do that. You've got to purge prior data so that the file can continue to go. Otherwise, it'll get bogged down and get really slow. You'll run out of space, et cetera, et cetera. End of year is always an ideal time to look at making a change because then it can be fresh for the start of the new year. But changing mid-year really is not that hard, especially if you can take your books with you. Again, it's rare that we find out that you can't. Now, if you come in and like your books just haven't been done all year, that there's a lot more work involved there. But if somebody's been doing your books and you're just not getting what you want out of them, but they're caught up and they're good, or what we run into a lot of times is, hey, we really want somebody that specializes in our area. Our people have done good with the books. They're caught up, they're clean, they're reconciled, but they're not detailed for our industry. And we want somebody that knows our industry. We just take that and run with it. We go set it up into industry standards and change it up so that it fits all of, we're very systematized. And so we put it into that workflow and it works really well. So that is it for what I had today. Here's all of our contact info. We are here to help. We are currently onboarding new clients for the new year with Shayla coming back in. We've got capacity. I'm very excited about that. And if you know me, you know I'm just super transparent, and that's why I was whining about my own staffing challenges, right? So I'm one that's going to be really direct and candid, and I'm not going to say that I'm immune to any of the issues you guys are facing as well, which is staffing. Even I was even reading that even the nursing staffing shortage is, so there's a nursing staffing shortage, there's also an accounting staffing shortage, and they're predicting in 10 years, 70% of today's CPAs will be retired, and they are not coming in that fast. And so we've got a big crisis to deal with there. But I was reading nursing is just as bad, and that there was an what was the word? There was a word of just exodus. There was a nursing exodus, and that it wasn't the older nurses that they were expecting it to be. It was the younger nurses that got burned out through COVID. And also just how they were treated in COVID, right? I won't go into that, it starts getting political, but some of the mandates and everything, there was a lot of people that resigned over, the vaccine mandates and stuff. So I know that you guys are struggling with those challenges as well. So anyways, if you want to reach out to us and see what we're all about, we're here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you. All of this will be sent out in an email. Feel free to share it with all of your friends, colleagues, anybody that, friends in the industry that you think are struggling or could use our help. We would love to help them out. So you'll get an email in 2 days with the recording link, and I think the slides go as well. So I hope to be getting back full time to doing our webinars, even during busy season. So keep on the lookout for more from us. I love doing these. So we're here if you need anything, just give us a holler. All right. Thanks, everybody. See ya.